We are getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the playoffs. That's right, NASCAR playoffs are here in about 7 races or something, I think. But yeah, after Kansas, we're going to talk about what the playoff standings are, who's doing good, who's doing bad, who has a shot, who doesn't have a shot. So let's get into it. Looking at the playoff board here, let's just get this over with. Who is in? Denny Hamlin with 5 wins, Kevin Harvick with 4 wins, Brad Keselowski with 2 wins, Joey Logano with 2 wins, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, all in with their wins this season. That's right. If you have a win, you're into the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you're 20th in points. It doesn't matter if you're 26th. As long as you're in the top 30 and you win, you're in. So, yeah, that's how Cole Custer, Austin Dillon, that's how they're in. I think Austin Dillon fell back out points-wise at the top 16, but, it doesn't matter because he has a win, so we won't discuss what-if scenarios. As for points, let's look at the guys who are comfortable. Guys who are comfortable points-wise are Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, and Kurt Busch. Almirola, 134 points over the cutoff line. Kyle Busch, 120 points above, and Kurt Busch, 119 points above. The only way they miss this is if they get COVID and they miss a few races, or if there's a bunch of new winners. Like, let's say Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, Matt Kenseth, and Ryan Newman all win, then yeah, they might not be safe. But other than that, they're going to make it most likely. As I said, unless they get sick or unless a bunch of people outside the playoff bubble win, they'll make it. Up next is the guys who are they're safe if there was one race to go, but there's a lot of races to go, so they're not really that safe. And that's Clint Bowyer and Matt DiBenedetto. If this was the last race going into the playoffs, it would take an absolute disaster for them to miss. Clint Bowyer and Matt DiBenedetto would have had to wreck out, and everyone else like Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, and Jimmie Johnson to get top 5s to knock them out. So, but we're not in that situation. We still have a few races to go, which is good news for them because they can win and lock themselves in, and they can extend their points gap. But it's also bad news because that points gap can shrink, and also someone outside the bubble could win. We got a couple wild cards coming up. We got the Daytona road course. We also have regular Daytona. Both those could produce a new winner or a chaotic point situation. We've seen a couple wild winners at 1.5 miles at Kentucky and Texas. We saw Austin Dillon and Cole Custer win. So you never know anymore. So I think if you want to lock yourself in, if you're one of those guys, you just got to go ahead and win. It sounds easy, but it's much more difficult. Now for the bubbliest of bubbles. How close is it? Well, Tyler Reddick and William Byron are separated by 10 points. That can be made up in one stage. That's right. If William Byron finishes 13th in stage 1 and Tyler Reddick wins the stage, back even at 0. Obviously, it depends on their running position, but let's say they end up finishing 39th and 40th. They're both tied. They're tied for that final spot. Who gets the tiebreaker? I don't know. I think Byron no, they both have a stage win, so I really don't know. I don't know who has the tiebreaker, but we'll figure that out later if we have to. But it's not that big of a gap. We saw what happened last week. Byron was 2 points out last week. He's now 10 points in. So lots can change in one race. After that, it's 12 points from Byron to Eric Jones. Once again, a lot can change in one race. And then 18 from Johnson to Byron. And obviously, we saw last week, Jimmie was 2 points above the cut. Now he's 18 below. Keeps on getting involved in wrecks. He can't do that anymore. He's got to win to lock himself in, or he's got to stop wrecking. He's got to get some top 10s, some top 5s, get some stage points. And then everyone below Jimmie's in a must-win. Bubba Wallace is 100 points back. He's the next one on that list. 100 points is more than a race. It's almost 2 whole races you got to make up in points, and that's so difficult to make when you got, 5 guys, 6 guys in front of you. That's so hard to make up. I think at this point, they've got to think win or bust if they want to make the playoffs. Anyone Bubba Wallace and back, so that would include Chris Buescher, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., John Hunter Nemechek, Michael McDowell, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, all those guys, they got to win. I hate to break it to you guys who are fans of those drivers, but they got to win. The only ones who are able to point their way in is anyone Jimmie Johnson or above. So that would include Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, Matt DiBenedetto, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, Jimmie Johnson. Those guys can point in. Everyone else, you got to win. Simple as that. But obviously winning you're in. So Matt DiBenedetto, let's say he goes up next week at New Hampshire and wins, he's in. He's above the cutoff line, so it's not a super big shakeup, but it does lock his spot up. So, yeah, winning is important in this format, and that proves. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It was just a simple playoff update. Really didn't know what else to do other than give you an update. I did not have the standings at my race recap, so I wanted to do this a different time. We'll be doing this every week now. So we'll do this after New Hampshire. We'll do this after the Michigan doubleheader. We won't do it like in between races. We'll do it after both races, and so on and so on and so on. So, yeah, thanks again for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe.